They went to the moon, and then they stopped. Not slowed down, not delayed, stopped. At the height of human ambition, when rockets were roaring and the world was watching, the most powerful space program on Earth simply walked away. Why would humanity abandon the greatest journey it had ever begun? Some say it was money. Some say politics. But the real story is quieter, stranger, and far more human. Tonight, we trace the final footsteps left in lunar dust, listen to the voices that came back, and the silence that followed. Because the question is not just why we stopped going to the moon. The question is what we discovered when we got there, and what it revealed about us. The year was 1969. Humanity held its breath as a fragile spacecraft carried 3 men across 250,000 miles of emptiness. The world saw triumph. Flags planted, words spoken. But behind the celebration, something else was unfolding. The journey to the moon was never just about exploration. It was a race, a demonstration of power, a statement to the world during one of history's coldest conflicts. Billions of dollars fueled the effort. Thousands of minds pushed technology beyond imagination. And for a brief moment, humanity stood on another world. But what came after victory is what makes the story mysterious. Because after only a few missions, the momentum faded. The rockets fell silent, and the path forward simply ended. 6 successful moon landings. 12 humans walked across that silent surface. They collected rocks older than Earth's oceans. They tested equipment. They explored. Each mission proved something extraordinary. We could go back whenever we wanted. The technology existed. The knowledge existed. The capability existed. Yet something unexpected happened. Public excitement began to fade. What was once impossible had become routine. Headlines shifted. Attention drifted. The moon had been conquered, and strangely, that made it less interesting. But routine does not stop a program of that scale. Something deeper was changing. Something that could not be photographed or broadcast. A quiet shift in priorities was beginning on Earth. Space exploration was never separate from Earth's struggles. Wars consumed attention. Economies tightened. Questions grew louder. Why spend billions reaching the moon while problems remained unsolved at home? The same technology that carried astronauts across space demanded enormous resources to sustain. Rockets were not just machines. They were national investments. And when priorities changed, so did direction. Leaders began asking not what was possible, but what was necessary. The answer reshaped history. The moon was no longer a battlefield of prestige. It became a destination already achieved. And once a goal is achieved, urgency disappears. But urgency was not the only thing fading. The missions continued, but their meaning shifted. What began as a daring leap became a calculated exercise. The final journeys were precise, efficient, almost quiet. And then came the moment few noticed at the time. Plans for future moon missions were canceled. Rockets that could carry humans beyond Earth were retired. Infrastructure was dismantled. The world did not witness a dramatic ending. There was no final declaration, just a gradual closing of doors. Like a grand theater after the audience has gone home. The moon remained exactly where it had always been, but humanity stepped away from the path that led there. But here is where curiosity deepens. The technology was not lost. The knowledge was not forgotten. Humanity did not stop exploring space. Instead, attention turned closer to home, orbiting Earth, building stations, studying our planet from above. The moon was no longer the next step. It became a memory, a symbol of what had already been proven. The greatest achievement in exploration history transformed into a completed chapter. Yet every astronaut who returned carried something intangible, a perspective difficult to explain. They had seen Earth from afar, and what they saw changed the story. Astronauts described something profound. From a moon, Earth appeared small, delicate, borderless. Every conflict, every nation, every human story existed within a thin layer of atmosphere, glowing in darkness. The moon did not reveal a new world. It revealed our own. Exploration had turned inward. The question was no longer whether we could leave Earth, but whether we could understand it. And that realization changed priorities more deeply than politics ever could. The moon was not abandoned. It simply stopped being the answer humanity thought it was seeking. Yet mystery remains. If we could go, why not return immediately? The truth is more complex than a single reason. Exploration requires purpose. The moon had been reached, samples gathered, lessons learned. Without a new mission, returning became repetition. And repetition rarely moves history forward. Space agencies began designing different futures. Reusable spacecraft, planetary probes, robotic explorers. The frontier had expanded. And when the frontier expands, destinations shift. The moon waited quietly as attention stretched toward Mars, deep space, and beyond. For decades, the silence continued. Generations grew up seeing the moon not as a destination, but as a memory. Footprints remained undisturbed, equipment untouched. The last human presence on another world preserved in perfect stillness. Time passed. Technology evolved. And slowly, the question returned. Not why we stopped, but whether we should go back. The answer would not come from competition or fear. It would come from curiosity reborn. Humanity had changed, and with it, the meaning of the journey changed too. The twist is simple and profound. Humanity did not stop going to the moon because it could not. Humanity stopped because the moon completed its purpose. It proved we could leave Earth. It proved cooperation could achieve the impossible. It changed how we see ourselves. The greatest discovery was not lunar soil, but perspective. The moon was never the destination. It was a mirror held up to humanity. And once that reflection was seen clearly, the journey had to evolve. Today, the story continues. New missions are planned. New footprints may soon join the old. But this time, the journey carries a different meaning. Not a race, not a demonstration, a continuation. The moon waits exactly where it has always been, silent, patient, unchanged. The real question is not why we stopped, but what we will become when we return. Because exploration never truly ends. It transforms. And the next step in humanity's story is already rising beyond the horizon. If this journey sparked wonder in you, stay curious. Because every question about space is really a question about us. The story of the moon is not finished, and neither is ours. Subscribe, and be here when the next chapter begins. The universe is waiting. And this time, we know exactly why we are going.